What's up, PC fam? Welcome to another episode of Chill with Chill. It is a beautiful Saturday morning, afternoon, evening, whatever, man. We had a young fella from Sweden the other day. Chill, we're so international. It just depends, where you at. Chill, how's it going? How you
running good, man? Running good, Joe. It's Saturday. It's the off season, but it's never really the off season around here. Now we always got something cooking. We always do.
Doubt.
We always got something for y'all.
Especially with Summer League going, we're definitely going to get into Summer League. Y'all see the title. First though, actually, Chill. Speaking of just straight hoop going on, the W is in mid swing.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed this year. I've been so busy. I missed a lot of games, but tapped in yesterday. Seen a little bit of the fever taking on the Atlanta Dream. Did you check any W out?
Actually, I have been, and I remember, because I'm glad you brought this up, Ox, because I remember you and I were having a conversation that Emeka, she's a little long in the tooth. Amumike, she's a little long in the tooth, but it don't look like it. It does not look like it. It does not look like it. She look like she still got the goods, Ox. Still cleaning glass, still running like a deer. Making that Seattle unit look viable. I like what I'm seeing up there with. I'm liking what I'm seeing up there with her. She looks like she definitely got the goods. Sure, Paige is the talk of the town because she's the new rook, and I can appreciate that. They still got that scoring machine in Dallas. That Aneka, not Aneka. I'm sorry. I got it. I keep getting her name. Enrique. That's what I'm thinking about. Enrique. They still got that scoring machine down there. The big girl hasn't really panned out like I thought she would. Big girl from Mississippi State. I thought she'd be better than what she was. And I think that maybe they're using her wrong in Dallas. I watched them play a lot of times, and they try to use her in pick and dive and in the short roll. And that's not where she's effective. She's more effective, the most effective, around the rim with quick hits, like flashing really quickly. I think because she's got really good touch around the rim. And on top of that, I think she's a good defender, but I think that they haven't put around her the pieces to help her be viable. I think she's a good rim protector because her mobility is a little bit questionable. So you got to put better athletes around her. But other than that, I mean, I think that I think she could be better. I'm surprised at what's going on in Vegas. I mean, is this a gap year? I know that Asia got hurt. She screwed up her wrist a couple of days ago, and it hasn't really worked out with Jackie like I thought it was going to work out. But this Vegas team, I think that they could get it back together because I don't think Asia is over. Let's be clear about that. I don't think on any level that Asia is over. I think that she's still the real deal, and she's still the best player in the game. I think the Minnesota Lynx are winning the WNBA championship box. I think they got the best team in the league. As good as New York is, and as good as Stewie has been for them. I just feel like as a complete unit, that Minnesota team they just look better than everybody else. And I would be surprised if they didn't win it.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited for when the playoffs start. I think it's going to be good. I think I'll put my money with Minnesota too. But I would never sleep on this squad they put together out there in New York. So it's gonna be fun to watch. Definitely gonna be fun to watch, man. Y'all make sure y'all tapping into the W, just like we tapping into the Summer League. It's a lot of good basketball going on, y'all, man. Keep watching. Keep watching
right now.
A lot of great basketball. Chill,
Ox, real quick before you move forward. Can we stay here just for a minute? The thing that I think that people, and I understand that they're women, and I understand that it may be not as enticing. I promise you guys, this brand of basketball is high level. Like these women are for real, right? I watch Minnesota, and I watch the action between Fee and that point guard, and it's next level. I watch what they do in New York with Sabrina. I watch what they're doing in Atlanta. Man, this basketball, and again, I understand it's women, and it might not be as enticing to you guys, but if you care about basketball, the game of basketball, tune into this and just pay attention to the action. These women are ballers, man. These women know how to play basketball on every level. That's the thing that I enjoy about the WNBA the most. These women know how to play basketball.
Definitely. Excuse me. Harvey in the chat said that he said we don't stream WNBA games. So Harvey, let me address that. we did do some quite a bit of playbacks last year for the W. This year, we will actually, we're supposed to be coming back with more playbacks this year after the Summer League. So after the Summer League is over, I believe we're going to start getting back on to playbacks with the W. So y'all stay tuned for that. If that does happen, of course, we'll let y'all know when and where to find us. But it's good basketball. So I just think that if for some people that don't enjoy it, I think it's one of those things like this an acquired taste, because it's kind of a different style of ball. It's kind of it looks a little different, obviously, without the high flying acts, the dunks and things like that. It just looks a little different. Yeah. So I think if you haven't watched women play like before, or grew up on it or whatever, then it might be kind of hard to come around to it. Like, you're so used to watching the NBA, and it just looks a little different. So I can't blame people that aren't really coming around to it. I think it's one of those things that you just gotta watch a few more times. You just gotta kind of get into it. So
just so you guys know, women can play basketball. Women can play basketball, and they really good too, guys. Just so you know, they're really good.
And the W is expanding, y'all. The Portland team will be here in 26, and then we got Toronto, Philly, and Detroit. Toronto, Philly, and Detroit. Yes, they're coming right after that. So, man, the WNBA is expanding, y'all. Man, y'all keep watching ball, man. Keep watching ball. But in the in the NBA, we all know there was a pretty big trade this offseason between the Houston Rockets and the Phoenix Suns. Whatever, there were 7 whole teams involved, right? But the big trade was Kevin Durant going to Houston, Jaylen Green going to Phoenix. And regardless of how you felt about that trade, and whether you think it was a good trade or whatever it may be, Jaylen Green had some thoughts on that, and he said, yeah, I had a feeling. They've been trying to trade me since last year. I'm not tripping. It's for the best of the team. I know it's a business at the end of the day. I really can't handle how I feel. Whatever happens, happens. At the end of the day, I still get the opportunity to play basketball. What do you think about that statement from Jaylen Green? I saw some people like on the internet that were kind of, because he said it's for the better of the team. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, he knows he's terrible," and comments like that. Chill. What do you think overall of the statement by Jaylen Green?
Well, he's still young and young enough to still love the game, and young enough to still not lose that fire for the game, which I think is great. But I don't think that we talk enough about the mental health of these guys when it comes to getting traded. I don't think we talk enough about the mental health of these guys when it comes to the business of basketball. A lot of these guys, especially young guys in particular, a lot of these guys, when they come into the game, young guys like Jaylen Green, who are 19 years old, 18, 19 years old, they come into the game and it's just basketball to them, not realizing that it is business. You are a professional and you got to carry yourself as a professional. And they think that this is very much just, I'm a baller. I'll be able to play anywhere. It doesn't matter where you send me. Excuse me. But then that actually happens where you end up getting shipped and you have to move to Phoenix. And I got to pick up my family. By the way, Jaylen Green, he's got a woman and he's got a child, and I'm 22 years old and I got to move to Phoenix. And the idea that they don't want me anymore. When you're young like that, mentally, that can have an effect on you. And I don't think people, especially considering what we have today with the internet, because of the amount of money that they make, this is the life that you sign up for, just suck it up. Well, wait a minute. That's not necessarily the case. I mean, I of course, I'm going to play. Of course, I'm still going to be myself. I'm going to try to be myself, but I'm not going to act like it doesn't affect me at all when I got to pick up and move at 22 years old to Phoenix. Yes, I'm making an astronomical amount of money, and it shouldn't be an issue. Yes, but when I'm listening to people constantly talk about, well, he wasn't very good anyway, and he's not that good of a basketball player. They did the best. The best thing for them was to get away from him and to get him off the roster. When in reality, they were building something in Houston, and it was working with him. It just didn't work as quickly as a lot of people would like. And because it didn't work as quickly as a lot of people would like, they want to completely just vanish him and get off of him. So now I got to move to Phoenix where, okay, we got to start this whole thing over, which isn't an ideal situation. There's already a guy there who does the same thing that I do. I'm just younger than him. He's in his prime. He is a better ball player than me. And we really don't have plans on what it is that they're doing with me. But this is the business of basketball. And mentally, I have to be tough enough to handle this. And I don't think that people take that sort of stuff into account.
Right. Definitely not. I think people watch ball, and I hate when I have to make statements like that, because then, you know, I don't want people to take it as disrespect. Like, I don't feel like if you didn't play basketball, you don't know basketball, or you don't understand basketball. I don't feel that way anymore. I did used to feel that way, Chill, but I met Mars and I realized, wow, this kid knows a lot about basketball, and I don't, you know what I mean? And that changed my whole thought process on that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mean any disrespect, but I do think that a lot of people that haven't maybe necessarily played don't kind of take into account, like, your life affects you on the court. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of stuff affects you, and it's serious. It can really change the way you play. You know what I mean? But I also, you know, what I want to ask you, Chill, is this: how come people take into account, oh, Kevin Durant's going to go over there with Houston and he's going to be playing with Jabari, so that's going to make Jabari better. Tari's going to learn how to score in the mid-range, and this kid are going to be better because they're playing with Kevin Durant. Why aren't we taking into account the fact that Jaylen Green's going to go play with Devin Booker, and maybe Devin Booker's going to teach Jaylen Green how to slow his feet down and get to his spots and choose better position. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things I'm curious about. How come we can compartmentalize that, but over here, oh, Jaylen Green's a bum? Like, no, that's not fair at all, because Jaylen Green is a very talented basketball player, but I think a lot of it has to do with just understanding the game, understanding the pace of the game.
Yep, and I think a lot of people have their own agendas when it comes to specific players. Kevin Durant, for example, you and me got into a heated argument about Kevin Durant and Jaylen Green. So when Jaylen Green moves over to Phoenix, which is not a better team, they automatically just completely dismiss it. It's a bad thing, not realizing that, you know, I'm 22 years old and I'm still in my developmental stage, by the way, Ox. I'm not an 8-9 year pro. Like Devin Booker, by the way, who's been to the NBA Finals, who's been on an all-pro team, who's been to the All-Star game, who's done all of these things, and I'm trying to do that. I haven't done that yet. I'm still in my developmental stage. I'm in year 4, still trying to figure this thing out. But Kevin Durant moves over to Houston, a team that was in the playoffs last year, and you got a guy in Kevin Durant who's still, to this day, at 36, 37 years old, one of the best scorers, if not the best scorers still in the game today. Him going over to Houston, it automatically means that Jabari Smith is going to figure out how to play with Kevin Durant. This is going to be great for him. It's not going to be as great for Devin Booker, because Phoenix isn't very good. Phoenix is the team that's developing. When in reality, that's exactly what I need. Somebody like Devin Booker, who could show me how to play the two guard at an effective level, who could show me how to come off screens better than what I already do. Because I'm already a pretty good scorer, but if I can get to the level of scoring like Devin Booker, who better to learn from than Devin Booker, right? If I could get to that level, then I can take the next step at being one of the better two guards in the game. Well, who better to learn from than running in the backcourt with Devin Booker? Kevin Durant, on the other hand, when I'm playing with him and Jabari, is looking at KD like, well, that's not really my game. And it doesn't necessarily mean just because KD jumps on the crew that I'm just going to be a sponge and I'm going to soak up everything that KD does. That doesn't mean that I'm going to do that, but I am going to learn from him. But I think people have their own agendas when they see guys like Kevin Durant and when they see guys like Jaylen Green.
Yeah. I just see people talking about SGA in the chat, and I want to inform y'all that Jaylen Green on Houston was better than SGA on the Clippers. So
just so you guys know, and I know that sounds ridiculous to a lot of you guys,
you know?
But yeah, I know that sounds
there's that, you know.
Yeah,
I know you hindsight merchants won't accept it, but those are the facts. Those are the facts. So if SGA can get great, then so could Jaylen Green.
Rookie SGA was not better than last year's Jaylen Green. No, he wasn't. No, he was not. No,
not even rookie. Not. I mean, how SGA was on the Clippers for what, 3-4 seasons?
One. That was it. Just 1 year.
That was just the one?
Just the 1 year. That was it. They got him as a rook. The
Well,
next
still,
season,
okay. Well, still,
yeah,
he
that
was
1 year.
So that year there in his first year at OKC, Jaylen Green was better than that.
I would have to do some more homework because I know how good SGA was moving forward. It wasn't really working out for Jaylen Green until he got with Ime Udoka. I think that's when his game really expanded. I feel like SGA after that second year with the Clippers, I mean with OKC, after that first year when they made the playoffs, I feel like he started to really improve. I'm not sure that he was that much better, but when Jaylen Green last year was with Houston, he was better than rookie SGA. Yes, he was.
Yeah,
well, I will stand on that.
I mean, just in the but you know, in fairness, just to keep it kind of close for age wise, I don't want to go 4-year Jaylen Green versus second year SGA. I would still say though the first 3 years of Jaylen Green's career better than the first 3 years of SGA's career, but. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe that maybe thinking about it that will give y'all some hope that Jaylen Green will become who I think a lot of us thought he would become initially. Because I believe
I believe an all-pro.
Yeah, I believe most of us were high on Jaylen Green. I know for sure I was. You know, so if you look at it in hindsight, you see where SGA is now, then you're gonna be like, no, it's impossible. It's impossible because where he is today. But it took time to get there. You know what I'm saying? It took time to get there. It wasn't just like, I mean, we all know SGA didn't just come into the league like this. I mean, it took some time. It took some time to play with Chris Paul. You know what I mean? And even but when Chris Paul talks about SGA too, he always talks about how the kid was a hoop head. He ate, drank, slept basketball. You know what I mean? So he was destined for that. But I just think it's unfair to act like these kids can't get better at basketball when you see
that's the issue right there.
You know, when you see the MVP of the league got better at basketball. You know.
And there's no reason to think that because you see the league MVP getting better at basketball, why can't a 22-year-old who now has gotten into a new system with a new coach in Ime Udoka over the last 2 years has not gotten better at basketball? Why can't I believe that could continue? Why not? Now, him moving over to Phoenix, that's a different system, and I'm not going to argue that point. That's a different system, and they're still trying to figure something out. I think that he was in a better situation in Houston, but we can't argue that he was getting better. We 100% was improving. There's no question about that. No question.
Also, Chill, another thing too, I think in this these playoffs, I think Jaylen Green played almost the best. I think he probably guarded Steph better than anybody in these playoffs. I
think he did a good job. I think he did a good job. I
was very happy with the level of defense and the defensive intensity he was playing in the playoffs. So I mean that shows a lot to me, man. I'm not ready to write the kid off. I'm gonna keep it up and keep watching. I think he'll get better. And if we're gonna take the stance that Jabari Smith is gonna get better by playing with Kevin Durant, then I'm gonna take the stance that Jaylen Green is gonna get better by playing with Devin Booker. You know?
Just so you guys know, Ox still has flashbacks from Jabari Parker. That was his guy. Just so you guys know.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, that was his guy. He loved him some Jabari Parker. Yes, he did.
Chill, what a time. What a time. And you know, some people disagree with me with this, Chill, but I say Jabari was the best prospect to ever come out of Simeon.
Derrick Rose.
I know.
Ben Wilson. Well, one thing we cannot argue when it comes to Jabari Parker, one thing that we can't argue, Giannis was insurance. Jabari was the man. You could try to argue that if you want, and the reason why you're arguing that is because you see what Giannis turned into today. That wasn't the plan back then. No, Giannis was a project. That's why they got him in the middle of the first round, and that's why they took Jabari when they took him, because Jabari was going to be the man. We didn't know he was made out of glass. We didn't know that, unfortunately. But as a ball player, before the injuries, he was the guy. He was the guy that they were building that thing around, 100%. And there's no argument in that. Only come to find out, oh shit, we got this Greek kid in the middle of the first round who's a lot better than we thought. Oh, man, we really got a gem here. But we also got a gem here, too. We did get this right. Yes, we did. We did get this right, too. We just didn't know that he was beat up like he was. We didn't know that part.
Oh, man, chill. The Milwaukee Bucks, they were really on to something. They were really on to
100% they were. Yes.
Jabari,
and they knew it, too, Ox.
Giannis,
they knew it.
Larry Sanders. I mean, they were putting together a good little squad over there, man. Shout out
and
to
it was
them.
working.
Yeah. I want to ask a question. Something came up.
Yeah.
Something came up, and it's about two players that I think both of us are pretty fond of. I know I am. These are two of my favorite players of all time. People have been comparing Dwayne Wade and Kawhi Leonard. Not so much of a comparison, but more so of a who would I rather have? Who would I take at their peak? You know, let's say D Wade's peak is around 2009. Let's say Kawhi's peak. Kawhi, I don't know which one to say. 19, 17, 21. I don't know. Where are you going with that conversation, Chill? I'm just curious.
Peak Kawhi Leonard, and again, he showed up in 11, right? He showed up in 11. I think your peak, like this is as good as this guy has ever. This is as good as this guy has ever been, and probably as good as he's gonna get. I think that's around like between year 7 and year 9. Between those 2 years, I feel like that's where we get the peak of you. This is how awesome you are, and this is probably how awesome you're ever going to be. And when I think about Kawhi Leonard from like 15, 16, as good as he was when he was winning the Defensive Player of the Year in 15, 16, and 16, 17, as good as he was at that aspect of the game, I don't think that was peak Kawhi. I think peak Kawhi Leonard was the guy in Toronto. I think that was as good as it was going to get, right? Him in Toronto, even though he was beat up, I think his game was way more fluid. I think his awareness, I think he was just so much sharper. Even though, I mean, he had the knee injury, he still was super sharp. But on the flip side to that, Ox, Wade in 2008, 2009. I mean, I think that was peak Dwayne Wade. And I'm doing it, by the way, in a league with peak James. I'm doing it in a league in 2009. Brian is still in his prime. I'm doing it in a league with Dirk Nowitzki is still awesome, right? I'm doing it in a league when Tim Duncan is still awesome, right? All of these guys are still awesome. That doesn't mean that James wasn't fantastic in 2018, 2019 before he got hurt. That doesn't mean that. But when I think about what Dwayne Wade was doing, and to your point, Ox, you know, Paulie Gold was still hot. Paul Pierce was still hot. Kevin Garnett was still awesome. This was a league at that time. Paul George, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. I'm sorry, not James Harden. Russell Westbrook, James Harden. These are the guys when Kawhi Leonard was doing it. This is what I'm talking about right now, not Dwayne Wade. So when Kawhi Leonard was doing it, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Giannis was coming into his own, right? Kevin Durant was still awesome, right? And Kawhi Leonard, I think he stood above a lot of those guys because of how awesome he was. Not just only on the offensive side of the ball, but on the defensive side of the ball. And I got to stand on my toes when I talk about this. The problem that I have, Ox, is some guys are so exceptional offensively that goes by the wayside. Like guys like Joker, guys like Luka. But I need to stand more on guys being awesome on both sides of the ball. And Kawhi Leonard at that time in the league with Curry and Giannis and James, he was fantastic. But Wade, when Wade was doing what he was doing, fighting with who he was fighting with at that time, if I had to choose between the two of those guys, especially considering what he did, leading the league in scoring, I thought Dwayne Wade was first team all defense that year. I know Bryant got it, but I thought Wade should have been first team all defense that year. I'm going to take Dwayne Wade in 2009. I am. I'm going to take Dwayne Wade in 2009. I think Leonard had the opportunity to jump on a crew that was already awesome, and he made them even more awesome. I think if Wade would have had the opportunity to, in 2009, I don't know, Ox, in 2009, imagine him jumping on that Detroit team that was in the East Finals against Detroit. Imagine Wade in 2009 jumping on that team. They back in the finals.
Man, yeah.
They back in the finals.
I love this conversation because you can't go wrong. You know what I mean? Like at that time, you couldn't tell me nothing about Dwayne Wade. That was the guy. I had him over everybody. And at that point, I remember what was that, the 9-10 season when Kobe hit that game winner over him when he was running this way off the glass. We, as a matter of fact, we were coming back from a game at up in Washington. I think we're playing at like Peninsula or something. We stopped to watch the game, and I'm standing right next to Ron. I'm standing right next to Ron and Shaq. We're watching the game, and I'm like, oh, we got one. And of course, you know, I'm in my peak Laker hatred at this point. And
can't stand them. Can't stand them.
Hate their guts. When Kobe Bryant hit that shot, I was ready to fight. I was so pissed. Like, I was so mad. Oh, I was cussing. Oh, I was so bad. My coach was like, "Yo, you gotta chill." I'm not chilling. I was pissed. Right? I was pissed. But it was more so because he did it to D Wade. I was just like, I can't believe this. This dude always does this to me, you know. But still, even with that being said, chill, give me Kawhi. Give me Kawhi. I like that 19 Kawhi. It was incredible, and I know he got on a great team. That Raptors team was already pretty good, you know. But that just doesn't matter to me. Kawhi Leonard.
Well, when I'm not going to argue how awesome Leonard was, because I was on the fan base of him having one of the most basic games at that point, but it was the most effective. There weren't many guys that was doing what Kawhi Leonard was doing offensively. Like, his ability to just get to a spot and knock down the mid-range. He had one of the most lethal mid-range shots at that point that I had seen since Jordan, since Bryant. Like, that's where that's the category that I put him in. And defensively, he wasn't 2015, but he was still at the top of the week. We can still have a conversation about him being the best defensive player in the game at that point. We 100% could do that.
Right.
But when I think about what Dwayne Wade was doing in 2009, leading the league in scoring, elite on the defensive side of the basketball. And unfortunately, when they played against the Boston Celtics, they didn't have the horses to stay with the Boston Celtics. I'll tell you what, though, Ox, they had one horse. They damn sure did have one. They had one horse who was with all the drama, who knew that in order for us to have an opportunity to win, I got to do this. And Boston knew it too, but they couldn't do anything with him. They couldn't do anything with him. And they knew that in order for us to beat them, we got to slow this guy down. We couldn't slow him down, so we're going to slow everybody else down. That's how we're going to beat these dudes, because we ain't going to be able to slow him down. We have nothing for him. That includes Garnett. That includes Rondo. That includes Paul Pierce. That includes Ray Allen. All of you dudes ain't got nothing for me. Tony, all of you dudes, y'all got nothing for me. Line all of y'all up, and I'll kick a last one of your asses. If I can imagine in 2009, like with Kawhi Leonard jumping on that Toronto team, imagine Wade jumping on that Orlando team. Like, how much better they were.
Oh, God.
Imagine that. How much awesome would they have been? What are we doing?
Right? I wish he would have did that. Damn the Heatles. I wish he would have did that. That would have been
Imagine
amazing.
He would have done that, jumping on that Orlando team. What that would have looked like.
I mean, he couldn't stop him, but I used to think Ray John did a pretty good job when he would get matched up on D Wade. Whenever he would get cross matched or however it would happen, I used to think Ray John used to do pretty decent. Now, obviously, you can't stop D Wade, but sure. I was always proud of Ray John. Like, I see that. Go at him. So I'm curious because a lot of the arguments, with the Toronto Raptors and Kawhi Leonard just came up in the chat, and I'm curious to know what's your thought process on that. How do you feel about guys getting judged based on their teammates and stuff like that? Like when the guy says that this guy can't be good because he didn't win anything, or I can't be talked. So it's such a weird dynamic, because either it's like you can't be talked about as a great because you played with yada yada yada, or what I'm saying, or so and so, whoever you played with, you can't be talked about up here. But on the other side of the coin, it's like you can't be talked about because you didn't win anything. When it's like, well, my teammates weren't really holding up the end of the bargain. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, let me think, like Magic Johnson over here and Tracy McGrady over here. You know what I'm saying? Like Magic, you had Kareem, so it doesn't count. Or team like you didn't win enough, so you can't be talked about. You know what I mean? How do you deal with that dynamic in hoop talk?
One, guys come into the league and they are so wrapped up in, being great, awesome, early. And it becomes a time when, okay, now I have to win. I feel like a lot of these guys that we talk about when we say, well, I didn't have this and I didn't have that. I think at some point, a lot of these guys have an opportunity to win. Now, whether you take advantage of that opportunity, that's up to you. Leonard had an opportunity to win later on in his career when he got in Toronto. He had an opportunity to win with the Clippers. The problem was that Clipper dynamic, it just didn't work, whether it was health, whether it was underperformance, which is what happened with Paul George. Now, to answer your question, I think that a lot of these guys, when they don't win, I judge them based on how they performed when they didn't win. Winning does matter to me, Ox. I care about that. Winning does matter because I look at how the dynamic of your team was built and how you maximize those guys. The one guy that I think about all the time is I think about Hakeem Olajuwon. So when they won an NBA championship in 1994, we talk a lot about him doing it by himself. Well, what we completely leave out is that crew had been together for 4 years. It's not like, Olajuwon was on that crew for a year. Otis Thorpe and Olajuwon have been together for 7 years. Like, it doesn't matter that you don't have all-stars. Aren't we seeing that today? Didn't we just see that with this Indiana team? Like, they got to the NBA championship without a bunch of all-stars, but the dynamic of what they had been together for a little while, right? And because they had been together for a long time, I mean, I feel like it gelled them. So when I think about guys not being able to win, the first thing I think about is, well, how long were you guys together? How long were you guys together? And what did you produce while you guys were together? And once I get to the bottom of that, then I can figure out exactly, right? Then I feel like I can figure out exactly how to judge a guy when we're talking about winning.
Right. Yeah. It's I feel on that. It's just like sometimes I think it gets a little silly sometimes. It's really like when we're talking hoop, especially when we bring up guys are no longer in the NBA, it just kind of goes in a loop. It's a circle because you can always find it out. You can always find a loophole in every argument when you throw in a couple hypotheticals, so there's that. Guys, we are here to talk about the Summer League, and we're definitely going to get into some Summer League talks, but we got an hour and a half show. Let's keep talking hoop. Chill and chat. There's something we're going to start doing on these Saturday shows, and we're going to have a blast from the past segment. We're going to call it the blast from the past segment, and we're going to talk about some forgotten greats. Today, Chill, let's talk about none other than the great Amar'e Stoudemire.
Let's do that. I'm down to definitely do that. Hell yes. I know this is your man, Ox.
Yes, Chill. I tried everything I could to patent my game after Amar'e Stoudemire, but that's a God's gift. You can't just work on jumping over people. You know what I mean? So
sorry.
So I would admittedly say that I was not like Amar'e in the pick and roll, but I wanted to be. So Chill, what was your thought on Carter Bryant Muse? You will get banned today. You will get banned today. I swear you will. How did you feel about Amar'e in real time? You know what I'm saying? Because Amar'e got drafted in 02.
Amar'e showed up in 02. Yeah, he showed up in the 02 draft.
Always know it's the year before D-Wade and them or the year after. It was 02, right? So, how did you feel about Amar'e initially, like when he was coming into the league and around the time of his peak? You know what I mean? What was your thought process on Amar'e, and did you rank him amongst those great power forwards that he came into the league playing against?
Yes, because again, Ox, I had seen Barkley, I had seen Malone, Duncan, right, Weber, and guys like that. And you and I had this conversation not too long ago, and we talked about the Summer League, and we're going to get into the Summer League a little bit later. And we talked about VJ Exum, where we kind of compare guys to other guys, and I wasn't comparing VJ to Dwayne Wade. I wasn't comparing him to Donovan Mitchell, but I think VJ is that next. I think he's that next iteration of the athletic two guard. Well, I felt like Stoudemire. I don't think that he was the next iteration. I thought that he was the evolution of the four-man. Like this is what the four-man is going to look like in the next 10 years. Like, this is the next level of the four-man. 6'9", super freak athlete, jump out the gym, really good mid-range game, just a dog on offense. He could rebound it a little bit better than he wasn't as good of a rebounder as I'd like for him to be. And he's on record saying, this is I want to say like in year 7 or year 8, Ox, where he said, nobody ever taught me how to play defense. He said that, right? He's on record saying that nobody ever taught me how to play defense.
And
with
Chill,
that being said,
right there, Chill. let's stay there for a second, Chill, because I want people to understand defense isn't just all effort. You can learn how to be a good defender. But go ahead.
As I was saying, so he said that, nobody ever taught me how to play defense, which blew my mind considering how good he still was as a player. Like the fact that nobody ever taught him how to play defense. Nobody ever taught him how to show. Nobody ever taught him how to drop. Nobody ever taught him how to stay in front of a guy, which foot to use. He's telling us that nobody taught him how to play defense, yet he could still hold his own as a defender in a power forward-laden NBA at the time. Because at that time, when he showed up in 2002, Duncan is running around. Dirk is running around. Weber is running around. Rasheed Wallace is running around. Antonio McDyess is running around. It's like, so these are the guys. Kevin Garnett is running around. Like I said, Duncan. These guys are fantastic, right? And he's still holding his own. He's still holding his own as one of the best power forwards in the game. And as an offensive player, I mean, there isn't anybody that I think could have fit better with Steve Nash than what him and Amar'e Stoudemire had. That pick and dive where Amar'e Stoudemire can pick the ball up in the middle of the lane because he was such a great athlete and just dunk on somebody from the middle of the lane. And when he gets out in transition, I'm trying to think of the power forwards. I ain't even talking about power forwards, Ox. Let's just talk about players. I'm trying to think of guys filling the lane, right? I'm thinking about guys filling the lane during that time. And guys filling the lane during that time, who's filling the lane better than Amar'e Stoudemire in transition? Because Gasol, Weber, like them dudes ain't running the floor like Stoudemire is. And that was a dream for Steve Nash. And these guys just played so much better. I'm on record saying that if Robert Horry doesn't smash Steve Nash into the scorers table in 2007 and Amar'e Stoudemire doesn't come off that bench, they beat San Antonio. And not only do they beat San Antonio, they smoke Cleveland in the finals. Smoke them. Man, I got them smoking Cleveland in the finals. 100% I do. So, I mean, that iteration of that example of Amar'e Stoudemire, he was nothing short of fantastic. He was great. Right. I loved everything about him. Yes.
Chill. and actually, this is something I mean you have gone back and forth on too. And I see people in the chat that were saying, Steve Nash with Amar'e, and somebody said that Nash and D'Antoni made Amar'e look better than he was. Well, if that's the case, how come Amar'e was so dope when he got to New York?
Right.
If Steve Nash made Amar'e, how come Amar'e was so dope when he was in New York? Was in
Raymond Felton, by the way.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Look, he was an MVP candidate. He was, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like
what's going on?
I'm just curious. I'm just curious to know, like, why was he so good without Steve Nash? Now, there's no doubt about it that him and Steve Nash were an amazing duo, and Steve Nash was spoon feeding him. But when he got to New York, Steve Nash wasn't there. I'm just curious to know. Just curious to know, fellas. Y'all in the chat, so let's talk about that. So that's our Blast from the Past player this Saturday. Y'all get in the chat. Let me know who should we talk about. Yes, Brandon. I know D'Antoni. I said no Steve Nash. You got to listen, Brandon.
He didn't have the He didn't have the personnel. He did not have the personnel that he had when he was in Phoenix. He didn't have Sean Marion. He didn't have Steve Nash. He didn't have Boris Diaw when he was in New York. No, he didn't. He had Wilson Chandler and Felton, guys like that he was running around with.
Right. But y'all get in the chat. Let me know who y'all want to talk about next week. I saw somebody say my man Monte Ellis. That's a great one. The Mississippi Bullet.
Yes, he was.
He was quite the player. But let's move on. Let's move on to the summer league. Chill. That's what the title's about. We got some pretty good young players. Some standout players that we've seen. Chill. I was watching the kid Yang play yesterday, and I was pretty impressed, Chill.
Ox, you and me had this conversation a couple of days ago about translation, and I don't really take a lot of account into the summer league when guys aren't shooting the basketball well. I'm just looking for stuff that translates to the next level. Your motor, how hard you play, the fundamentals in terms of defense, like the stuff that I think that we can fix this stuff really quickly. And I think the same thing goes on with this kid Hansen. I think that as a big, he knows how to play basketball. And that's what I look for. That's what I'm looking for when I'm talking about translation. He's looking for the open guy. Like they run the offense where he's at the high post. They run the offense where he's at he's on the wing and he's cutting to the basket. I'm loving that. And he knows who to look for. He knows how to get guys the basketball, especially when we're running the offense through our big guy. Just because we run our offense through our big guy does not mean that every time the big guy gets the ball, he's got to score it. No. How do these other guys play off of him? And the way that they play off of him with cross action, with guys asking for the ball, cutting to the basket, it's almost like he sees plays a play or two ahead. Like, I know what you're going to do. I know what he's going to do, and you're going to be open. That's stuff that I really can't teach because you already have the know-how as a basketball player. And I can definitely feed off that and enhance that. And the fact that I can't teach 7'1", what is he, 7'2", something like that, Oxy? He's a pretty big guy.
He's pretty big.
Yeah, 7'2". I can't teach that. And he's a better athlete than I thought he was. He gets up and down the floor really good at that size. So I think the Trailblazers got a gem in this guy. Yes, they do. They got a gem in him. This might be one of those Joker and the other big guy that they had. That's in Charlotte. Jokic, not Jokic, but Nurkic. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm sorry, right. Nurkic, where they had to pick between the two of them, and the Trailblazers ended up going with Nurkic, and they had to come off a Joker, and they gave him to Denver. Well, this could very well be a situation like that, considering how good he is. Because I'm not sure that they're going to keep both of them. Because I love this kid clinging. I love everything about him. 100%. I love everything about him. His presence around the basket, his touch looks like it's gotten better. So I'm really feeling this crew all the way around.
Yeah, I really liked Nurkic before he got hurt. Before Nurkic got hurt, when he broke his leg, I believe that year. Before that, I was really high on Nurkic. I thought he was pretty good.
Right.
Right. Chill, when you were playing ball, Chill, how did you like to play with bigs that could pass a little bit? I used to like to catch the ball in that mid post or at the nail, and I always tell the guards, like, hey, when I catch the ball right there, don't just watch me work, man. Cut. I'm gonna get you. Like I could throw this. I could the bounce, but I could do that. You know what I'm saying? So just cut off it. How did you feel like that to you? Did that make it easier for you to play, or would you prefer just to dump it down to the big man and no, just go to work? Like what does that do for your game?
I love the big man. I'm a big fan of the big guy. When I throw the ball into the big guy, especially a big guy who wasn't a black hole. Playing with a big guy who wasn't a black hole, that just enhanced my game because I knew he was looking for me. So that made me dive harder to the basket. That made me cut harder to the basket. That made me flare a little bit harder because when he got the double, he was looking for me. And I also knew how to get you off. I knew that if I threw the ball into you, and not only if I threw the ball into you, you threw it right back out to me. I'll fire it right back into you when you repost. Well, I'm looking for you. That's going to make you rebound for me more. That's going to make you clean up things for me more. So when I dump the ball into you in a post and I know that you're passing, Big Ox, I'm cutting hard to the rim and I'm looking for the ball. And if you miss me, I'm not just going to, no, because I know you're looking for me. You just missed me right there. And you'll catch me the next time. I know that you'll catch me the next time. And I know that we have good chemistry because you'll say, yo, Jay, I missed you. Don't stop cutting. And I'll do the same thing with you. I'll throw the ball into you into the post. And then the next trip, I might miss you and go to the basket. I'll get you next trip, big fella. I'm not forgetting about you. So the dynamic with the big guy who can pass, that dynamic always worked with me. Always.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, because I see Yang, he hit that one off the glass. He missed the second one. So I don't think his shot is complete yet, but he has a willingness to shoot it. He obviously has a willingness to pass it. I see them put it on the ground, get to the rack, a nice little spin move, a nice touch. Chill, I want to ask you, do you think we'll ever see any Yang Klingen minutes together?
Yes, because we saw Joker and why am I drawing a blank on the big guy? Went to Duke, played with him in Denver. Plays
Plumlee.
with the Clippers. Plumlee. We seen Plumlee. We seen Plumlee and Joker minutes. And the reason why that worked because of how good a ball handler Joker was. So we saw a 4 and 5 pick and roll. We saw a 4 and 5 pick and dive. And I think we could. I think we can see that kind of iteration in Portland, considering the ball handler that Yang is. What I was concerned with when I watched him previous to this was Mars had brought up something to me where he talked about the size that was going on in the league that he played in. But when I watched him, the size in the summer league doesn't seem to affect him, which means to me that when he plays against bigger people, I don't think that the size is going to affect him. I think with his ball handling, when he improves, I think that we can have a Klingon. I think that we can have a Klingon and Yang 4-5 pick and roll. I think and I'm one of those people who I don't get wrapped up in it as much because I know as much as I love Shaq, as much as I love David Robinson, as much as I love these guys, I know that they're gone. So the 5-man is different today. So we can play action like that. We can have action where the 4 and the 5, especially if my 5-man is an elite ball handler and elite in the pick and roll. If we can have action like that, where if my 4-man can set screens like this kid, like this kid Klingon, like he can set screens, and I can put Yang at the 4, and we can have that kind of action. I think that definitely will work. Yes, I definitely think that can work. Mm-hmm.
Okay, no doubt. Shit, what do you say to people that are saying the summer league isn't a good gauge because this isn't who you're going to play with? These aren't the coaches that are going to be coaching you necessarily. You know, your head coach isn't there. Like, what do you say to that? And what is it specifically that you, because I believe there is some truth to that. 100%. I think there's some truth to that. So with that being said, I think you have to look for certain things that are going to be related into the regular season. So what is it that you look for while you're watching the summer league that shows you, okay, that could translate, or okay, he might be ready, or okay, he's not NBA ready over here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what is it in the summer league that you're specifically paying attention to that'll make you think this could translate to the regular season with the regular NBA squad?
Well, two things. One, if I wasn't playing in the summer league, where would I be playing at? I'd be playing pickup. None of my coaches are there. Not only are none of my coaches there, none of the guys that I'm playing with are there. So I could develop bad habits playing pickup. There might not be stuff that I should be working on that I'm going to work on in pickup games, as opposed to when I'm playing with my summer league team and I'm playing with coaches, not necessarily the coach that I'm going to be coached by, but it may be the third or the fourth coach who's on the bench and the kind of style of play that we're going to have. So I'm going to get an idea of what that is. What I look for, Ox, is I look for your know-how, right? The stuff that we can't teach. I look for how fast you run, how high you jump, how you compete. Are you in space where you need to be, even if you don't know what you're doing? Are you there, and are you in a positive space? Like, you're not tripping over other people. You're not just bumping into people and not knowing exactly where you're supposed to be. I understand that, this whole thing is new, but I think about stuff like ball handling. I think about, do you over dribble the basketball? Because that's stuff that if you over dribble the ball, that's stuff that we can figure out. How is your handle when you get pressured? How is your handle when you're coming off a screen and roll? How is your handle when you're trying to get downhill and it's just a one-on-one guy? How are you at creating space in front of somebody else? Like, this is the kind of stuff that I look for when I look for young guys coming into the league. Translation. I look at your body. Like, when I think about a young guy's body, okay, he looks like he can develop into a stronger guy. Alex Sarr is a prime example of that. I watched Washington yesterday, and I'm high on Alex Sarr. I think Alex Sarr is going to be one of the best defensive players in the game, if not the best defensive player in the game at some point. And the reason why, I like the way he's starting to use his body. He looks like he's getting stronger. He looks like he's getting more. He looks like he's taking up more space because he's getting stronger. And I really like that about him. I think that his rebounding can improve. And that's something we can work on. That's 100% something that we can work on. But those are the things that I look for when I think about young guys.
Okay. And based on that,
yeah,
who are you seeing this year that kind of fits that mold?
Alex Sarr, like I said, I love this kid, Trey Johnson, Ox. I love everything about him, man. I mean, I think Charlotte made a mistake passing on him. I understand the Knipple idea, but this kid, Trey Johnson, I think that once he understands the game even more, first of all, the efficiency with him tells me he doesn't take a lot of bad shots. That's what the efficiency tells me. The efficiency tells me I score where I'm at. I shoot the ball and I score the ball where I know I can score it. I do that with 100% certainty. All right. So with that, okay, once I learn space, once I learn how to clear myself from guys, once I learn how to get open at the pro level, once I learn how to flare better, once I learn how to come off screens, I'm going to be even better. Once I learn how to slow my process, once I learn how to slow my thinking down, I'm going to be even better. Sarr, this kid, Trey Johnson, I love him. VJ Escom, I think that he's going to be great. I think that this kid Ace Bailey's going to be really good too, Ox. I do. And I think if Utah can teach him, I feel like if Utah can teach him to play in the spaces where he's the most effective, which is like in that mid post, in that mid range, and then we'll move out to the long ball line. We don't have to go to the long ball line immediately. Ox, I think that these coaches, one of the things, because I know that the game is at the long ball line. One of the main problems that the coaches that I have with coaches is that they immediately go to the long ball line. Immediately. Kind of like when you were playing as a big, okay, we immediately go to the box. Okay, if we're gonna go to the box, can you teach me how to make a layup first before I go to the box? Can you teach me how, like the mic and drill? Can you teach me touch and all of that stuff before we just throwing you the ball in the block and I'm showing you moves? Well, wait a minute. I can't just throw you the ball in the box, Ox, if you don't know what you're doing, right? And I feel like they're doing the same thing with these guys when we immediately go to the long ball line. Like, okay, teach him how to play in the mid-range first. Teach him the space where he's going to be the most effective in the mid-range and in the mid-post. Teach him how to get open. Teach him that kind of stuff. Because when you do, I feel like when you do that, I feel like you make them way more effective than they already are. So VJ, Trey, Alex Sarr, those are the guys. This kid Hansen, I like what I'm seeing from him. Klingen, let's see. Those are the guys that I'm thinking about off the top of my head that I really like. And there's some other guys who, again, that I'm not sold on yet, but I see the development. Like Bronny James, for example, Ox.
Right.
I see the development, and I still think that we're a year, maybe 2 years away from him really contributing on a roster. But we are. I feel like we're on the right track with Bronny James. I do.
Right. One thing that you mentioned a second ago, kind of pace. I look for a lot of that. I look for I'm concerned with guys that go one speed. You know what I mean? Like if I see you're just straight trying to always beat, like on specifically on offense, like if I see that you're always trying to get there first, like you're always trying to, like even in the open court. Like if you're gunning the court and you see the defender coming here and you're just, I got to get there first. If you're not using change of pace to your advantage because you're the one with the ball. So if I go fast, the defense got to go fast. I slow down, they got to slow down. You know what I mean? So if I never see you change your pace to try to stop, like, okay, if he wants to go by me, like for instance, like when like what Bronny did on that one dunk that we were talking about last week, like he stopped and let the guy go past him and then got the dunk. You know what I mean? It's things like that. Like if you don't know how to slow your feet down, if you don't know how to slow down, cross explode past him, you know what I'm saying? If you can't do that, or maybe not can't do that, but if you can't register when to do that, you know what I'm saying? Then those are the things I'm looking for, you know, because I was taught slow is quick, you know what I mean? So if I can't always rely on my ability to beat you there, because once you get to this level, we're dealing with world-class athletes. We're dealing with superhumans. You know what I mean?
Just because you can run fast and jump high, that's not enough. Nope.
Right. Because everybody can do that. You know what I mean? So
everybody here can do that.
Right. I got to be able to use the defense against the defense. You know what I'm saying? So I need that. That's what I'm looking for. More so specifically in the wings and guards. Like the bigs, I want you to be able to do it too. But if you're a wing, a guard, and you don't know how to adjust your pace and manipulate the defense based on that, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm concerned. I'm concerned that at this point in development, you know. So those are some things I'm definitely looking at.
That guy and And I know we got to keep moving, but I can't leave out Carter Bryant, Ox.
That's where I was going. That's where I was going right there.
I can't leave him out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what the Spurs are going to do because that kid's just a baller. He's my definition. That's the epitome of a baller to me. Yep. You could tell he's hungry. He's hungry. He's hungry to play basketball.
Yes, sir.
I think he's one of those kids that eat, sleep, drink basketball. You know what I mean? So
he looks like the kind of guy. If I'm watching him, he looks like the kind of guy that's trying to get away from something. I ain't going back to that. And if this is what I got to do not to go back to that, I'll do it. I will do it. Ox, they were up by 30 at one point, and he's on the bench, still yelling. Right. He looks like the type of dude that you got to kick him out the gym. Go home, man. Get out. All right, enough. You've been here long enough. Go home. Come back tomorrow.
Chill. My issue and my problem, and I think this is my toxic trait when it comes to basketball, is that I think that's how you're supposed to be.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like, if you're not doing that, that's an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, when I saw that, it wasn't that big a deal to me. It just kind of registered like, okay, we got one. You know what I'm saying? Boom, that's a hooper. Yep. But and mind you, I don't want to say because people are bringing it up like, oh, look at I'm just like, man, that's what you're supposed to do. You're in the NBA. We're supposed to be excited about basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, come on, let's go. Be happy for your teammates. That's to me, that's what a basketball player is supposed to be. So I'm not trying to take anything away from mind you. I'm happy to see it, but
sure.
Why isn't everybody like that? Like,
because not everybody
love basketball.
No, not like. Unfortunately, Ox, there's a lot of guys who are just big, who they love what comes with the game. I'm just good at it, and because I'm good at it, I'm gonna do it. This isn't really something that I love to do, and I know it's frustrating because they're super talented and they're awesome. And if they actually had that kind of passion and that love for the game, how much better would they be? Unfortunately, they don't look at it like that. They look at it like, yeah, I play basketball. I'm 6'10". The girls like me. I'm on TV, that sort of stuff. When in reality, the ones who you got to kick out of the gym, those are the ones who people aren't paying attention to the most, like Carter Bryant, guys like that, like Bryant. Guys, I feel like guys like that are guys that you want to be around. And the reason why you want to be around these dudes is because that energy is going to resonate. Eventually, you're around them long enough, that energy is going to get on you. Just like negative energy gets on you, positive energy gets on you too. And a guy like Carter Bryant, that kind of energy gets on you.
Right. I mean, hey, I'm excited that we got some young players that really want to play ball. It's really dope. Chill. I know we're talking about summer league, and I got some super chats. I got some people in the lobby that we're going to get to, but I want to talk to you real quick because there's been some more developments in Denver as far as the big fella J-Val goes. It looks like he's going to be around. I'm gonna call it what it is. It looks like they're holding him hostage. It looks like we might have. Looks like we might got to call the FBI. We got a kidnapping going on here. I also saw somebody in the chat ask, do we think they could play together on the floor together? I absolutely think they can at times. Chill, what do you think? What do you think about this for Denver? Like, if you're the GM over there, or if you're Coach Adelman, or if you're the ownership over there, do you want a guy on your team that doesn't want to be there?
Chris Webber didn't want to be in Sacramento, and we saw how that went. I mean, that turned out really well.
Yeah.
So, I absolutely understand where J-Val is from a mental standpoint. He may think that I'm better than a backup. He may think that I may want to go home and play in a better situation. Sure, but in the NBA and in this particular situation, we got contracts, and when you got a deal, you have to honor that deal. And it may not look like it right now, my man, but this thing could work, and it could work really well, because what Denver did was Denver filled every hole that was necessary for them to fill. What was their biggest issue? Their biggest issue was their backup 5 spot and their rotation.
Yeah.
Their backup 5 spot and their rotation, they took care of all of that. They bagged Tim Hardaway Jr. They brought back Bruce Brown, right? They got Valanciunas. I feel like I'm leaving somebody. They already have Peyton Watson on the bench. They already have Straw there on the bench.
Cam Johnson.
So Cam Johnson, that's one thing. They traded for Cam Johnson for MPJ. So I feel like everything that was necessary in order for them to still be competitive, right? In order for them to still be competitive, I think that they filled every last hole that was necessary. And there might not be a better backup 5-man in the league than Valanciunas. Even though Valanciunas may think, right? Even though Valanciunas may think that he's still a starter, which he may very well be, but I think that this may be a better situation for him. Mark Aguirre was still a starter in the NBA, but he ended up going into the rotation for the Detroit Pistons. They won the NBA championship because of it. Won the NBA championship because of that. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like I understand where Valanciunas is, but I can also say this could be a situation that could be a lot better for you than you know. A lot better.
Yeah. I believe so as well. I support the fact that he wanted to go do that. But to your point, Chill, I got to keep the same energy, as the young fellas call it. I got to be consistent because I'm always advocating for you sign the contract. You know what I mean? So just because this is one of the guys that I enjoy watching play. One of the guys I favor a little bit. I can't switch up now. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good thing to honor your contract. So if you sign it, finish it out. And I mean, he's 33. He could after this he can go over there and do his thing. So and I'm also of the same mindset because when they got J-Val before any of the going to play in Greece stuff came up, I saw that like, wow, that's a great move for Denver. Since J-Val has gone to the bench, I think he's the best backup big in the NBA. And so you put the best starting big in the NBA with the best backup big in the NBA. I think that says, right there alone, that puts you at a level up. So I think Denver is scary with the moves they made this offseason. I'm gonna go ahead and say I got them as my favorites to win it. This year. I think they're my favorites. And so I understand why they were so adamant about him staying. Like, no. Like you gotta be here. I definitely understand it. Not only just based on the fact that your contract, but also like, bro, we kind of need you. Like, yeah, we got Jokic, but that dynamic. So and J-Val is a awesome passer. He might not be able to pass it to the level of Jokic, but he's still an awesome passer. So
that's why he's a backup ops, and I'm still getting positive minutes from him in the rotation. And again, with those two guys on the floor, I think your rebounding is going to be so much better. And the fact that J-Val can knock down the mid-range. I feel like the fact that Joker attracts so much attention, the way he attracts attention, J-Val flashing into the mid-post and into the post, on top of that, them playing the high-low game, which is what he did with Aaron Gordon, except throwing the ball to the rim in terms of lobs, I can dump it down to him when he flashes and get quick hits. I think this can work. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
100% think that this can work. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. We got some super chats. Let's get into some of these. First of all, let's shout out to Snowbird Sneakers for gifting 5 Players Choice memberships. Appreciate that, Snowbird. That's what's up, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with Teddy Hart. If you are part of the Lakers' new ownership, do you try to pursue Masai Ujiri to replace Rob Pelinka?
Maybe, possibly. I still need to see what Rob is doing. I don't think he did a terrible job, but there's some people who think he did an awful job at what he was doing. They just ran into a better team and they had some unfortunate luck with the Lakers. That's unfortunate.
I mean, Rob did just bring y'all Luka. I mean, why would you fire a guy that just got y'all Luka Doncic? That's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Will sent through a super chat and said, "What up, fellas? This Hanson Yang is really fun to watch play basketball. He seems very smart and he's got that Jokic kind of game, but even more mobile."
I like it. I do. You watch him, and if you know anything about basketball, you watch him, you can tell he knows how to play. He knows what reads to make. He knows who he's looking for. He knows when to score. It's just a matter of enhancing that. I like what I'm seeing from him. I do. I like what I'm seeing from him.
And you know, Chill, I would even go as far to say that for a big guy with the style of play he has, it might even be a little harder playing against those little guys over there in China. You know, you got when you're dribbling the ball, when you're making certain moves, you know, you got guys coming out of nowhere, swiping down at the ball, things like that. You know, so you know, especially when you're putting the ball on the ground, those little guys are down there already. So I think that might have you ready for this next level of play. And when you're 7'2", the height's not going to affect you. You know, you're playing against bigger guys, so they're still not bigger than me. You know, so I think playing against smaller guys can enhance your ability to put the ball on the ground, your ability to make certain moves. So, I mean, maybe we should think about it that way.
And to your point, Ox, you know, when you're in a bigger car, it's a lot more difficult maneuvering in and out of traffic around smaller cars, as opposed to when you're in a smaller car maneuvering around traffic against bigger cars. I get it. I 100% understand that.
And that's why as a big, that's why they always teach us to keep the ball here. They're not telling you to keep the ball here for no reason. It's because those little guards will come and dig. They'll slap down. You get the rebound and put it here. You're not getting that back up. You know, so you know, playing until I'm not gonna lie, even catching the ball on the block, I'd rather. And I'm 6'8", 6'9". I have more trouble scoring on a 6'5" guy than I do on a 6'10" guy. And it might sound crazy, but it's. I mean, I'm just being
just so
honest.
Y'all know, we was in PC weekend in Indiana. Ox had more of a difficult time dealing with me than he did with Dell, and Dell 6'8". Ox said, and that's not to say that I could guard Ox, because I couldn't. Ox is 6'9", but he had a little bit more difficult time because I'm smaller in terms of maneuvering, as opposed to when he had Dell faced up on him. He had a bigger guy on him. He knew how to go at him. So I understand it. Yeah.
I mean, it might sound crazy, but that's a fact. I used to always hate playing against those tweeners, those 6'4" guys that look like they play a little football. You know, they're up under you. You got your forearm right here in my lower back. Like it's a lot harder. So that's just where I always came from. I love to see a 6'11", 6'10" dude coming like, oh yeah, I'm eating you up, you know. So that's just how I look at it. I'm excited for this kid, man. I really am. Teddy Hart with another super chat. Rookie Jaylen Green wasn't definitively better than Clippers SGA, in my opinion. He just had a featured role. Defensively and IQ-wise, it's not a conversation. And as for offensively, again, Jaylen was featured.
Wouldn't that make him better, though? That's why he was featured. Or maybe they weren't using Jaylen. They weren't using SGA like you would want them to for a reason. Maybe because he wasn't that. So if you take SGA as a rookie and you put him in Houston and that dumpster fire that was, I mean, what does he look like? They might have ruined him. They might have wrecked him.
Right. I don't know. I just think we might be being a little rough on Jaylen Green. I think the kid still has a lot of action. Void Century. Suns will have a good season. Point book, shot creator Green, 3-and-D Dunn, 3-and-D Fleming, and Mark Williams / Milewatch with Brooks 6-man. It'll at least be fun to watch.
Maybe fun to watch, but
6-man Brooks.
Yeah,
he doesn't start.
I think Brooks is starting in Phoenix. Yes, he is. Over Ryan Dunn. Yes, he is. He's starting over him. 100% he is. And I like Ryan Dunn. Anybody who knows me knows that I love Ryan Dunn. But Brooks is definitely, I think Brooks is just starting small forward. Yes.
Right. Flexed up 9261. Prediction. Hansen will replace Sengun.
What is Houston giving up? What does Houston get? What is Portland? Because it's not going to be straight up. I don't think so. No, I'm not trying. I don't think that happens. So maybe later on is what you're trying to say. And the question is what is Houston going to give up in addition to Sengun? Because this kid Hansen may turn into something serious.
Yeah, I think so. I think he is going to be serious. I don't know about replacing Sengun. I'm not sure. But all right, y'all, let's get to the library. Let's see what we got today. We got Davion. Let's pull up Davion and see what he got for us. Davion, what's up, fam?
What up?
How y'all doing?
You?
So, I was listening to the panel maybe a month or two ago, Chill, and you said that SGA was better than Chris Paul offensively. And when you told me that, I've been thinking about that ever since you said that. So I'm trying to figure out what made you think that. Like, I don't know if you remember Chris Paul, like how he was in his prime when he was on the Clippers, or even young Chris Paul. Chris Paul in the mid-range, Chris Paul's floater, Chris Paul can make from three, his pick and roll game. I'm trying to see what do Shea do on defense so good that's better than Chris Paul offensively.
Well, wait a minute.
Well, I
want to remember exactly what I said, because I don't want to give you any bad information, right? Because I'm trying to remember what the context was, because I do remember saying that Chris Paul. I mean, I do remember saying SGA defensively was better than Chris Paul. There's no way I said he was. There's no way I said that.
So you would say his defense
he was better
than Chris Paul offense. That's basically what you were saying. So like,
no, if I said that, if I said that, I was wild as hell. Because there's no way Chris Paul as a defender is worse.
No. SGA as a defender is better than Chris Paul as offensively, like scoring wise.
No,
that's what I mean, like scoring basketball.
Because Chris Paul is awesome as an offensive player. I don't know. I see how good SGA can be. Right. I see how good he can be on defense, but that's largely due to the guys that are around him. Like he's not featured as a defender like Alex Caruso, like Lou Dort, right? So if I said that was definitely out of context, because I seen Chris Paul featured as an offensive player, and he's a lot better than he was one of the best offensive players in the game. I think SGA is one of the better defensive players in the game, but I don't think to the level of what Chris Paul was offensively. No, I don't think that. If I said that, then that's definitely wrong. No.
Okay, yeah, because I remember hearing it on the panel. I remember Mars saying, okay, yeah, like you tripping. Like I remember y'all going back and forth about it. And I'm like, you get to be like remembering them all or thinking like, okay, because seeing Chris Paul now, people, just seeing him as the playmaker who he is and not who he truly could have been as offensively.
Right.
Because, Chris Paul, I feel like he never got to, be strictly offense how he could have been, a strictly scoring guard if he wanted to. He always been, doing the best of his abilities, passing and scoring. But, I feel like if he had to take it to that level, he could have been, up to, 28-point a game season. You never know who he could have been, but Chris Paul was definitely.
I remember Chris Paul, but I was thinking about, because now I remember what the context of the conversation was. The context of the conversation was where is SGA amongst the pantheon of guards? If we dropped him in 2015, like where would he rank amongst those guards? Right. That's what I remember about those guards. And we were talking about how awesome Chris Paul was as an offensive player. And I remember Chris Paul, he had one of the best mid-range games that I had seen, right? Not only did he have one of the best mid-range games that I had seen, he was definitely one of the best creators of offense. And I ain't even just talking about his ability to pass, just a creator of offense. SGA makes plays on defense, and I'm not going to argue that point. SGA is one of the better defenders in the game at the guard, right? He's one of the better defensive players at the guard position, I think, in the league. But does he create offense? Does he create offense on defense as well as Chris Paul was able to create offense as an offensive player? No, I don't think he was able to do that. So if I said that, that's basically what I meant. I don't think that he was better. No, I'm not saying that at all.
Okay, yeah, that was the only thing I kind of thought of. And then another question is, who have y'all both been most impressed with who we've been seeing in summer league so far?
Trey Johnson, and Carter Bryant. I'm putting on my league pass San Antonio Spurs games this year, because I'm tuning in to not only just because of Wemby, not only just because of De'Aaron Fox, but Carter Bryant. He is going to be in the rotation. I said this to Ox a couple of days ago when we watched the Olympic team with James and Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, and Bam, and Anthony Davis. With all of those guys that were playing, Steve Kerr said Jrue Holiday is on the floor. I'm going to find minutes for him. I think that's who Carter Bryant is. Carter Bryant is that guy who I will find run for that dude. He need to be on the floor, and I'll figure it out. Yes.
Okay, that's good. How do y'all feel about Milo Watch? I didn't watch his game yesterday. I didn't see him play yet, but how do y'all feel like he's gonna play on the Suns with D-Book and everything?
I think he's gonna struggle, and the reason why I feel like he's gonna struggle, not because he sucks, but because he's gonna be put in a situation where he's gonna have to perform. Because I don't think Phoenix is gonna be that good. And I mean, I think that he's going to be put in spaces where he's got to play now. Like, because Mark Williams is injury prone. So I think Mark Williams is going to get hurt at some point. And he's going to have to move into the starting lineup. And they don't have another backup fireman because I don't think Nick Richards is that good, to be honest with you. So I think that Malawach is the guy that they're going to have to go with. So with them having to go with Bryant, right? So with them having to go with Malawach, he's going to have to deal with guys like Anthony Davis, Joker, and all of the better centers in the league when, and hence the term, when Mark Williams goes down. And I think it's going to be a struggle for him. But I think getting your ass kicked in this particular situation is not a bad thing because he can learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Davion, I've been most impressed with Carter Bryant. Just the defensive intensity, just that the defensive intensity alone, and the willingness and the want to play defense is very impressive to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love those type of players. I've been hearing y'all keep talking about it and just seeing, him just fighting over screens. Like you said, Chill, they about 30. He just still giving effort. That's the type of stuff that's gonna keep him in the league for a while.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Love
well,
it. All right, Davion, I appreciate you pulling up as always.
Appreciate
we'll catch you next time, man.
Brother. Absolutely, brother.
Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Love that kind of energy from dudes like that, Ox. No doubt. Love that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let's see who we got next. We got Classic. Classic, what's up, dog?
Yo, what up, guys?
What up?
What up? Yeah, I was I'm excited for the guy you was talking about in Minnesota yesterday, Chill, the Juan Berenge dude.
Mm-hmm. Berenge.
I know, I know with Mars, I don't really agree with a lot of his takes. And I remember when I said I think you guys would be like great coaches in the NBA. I think Mars would probably be like a terrible coach, but I think Mars would probably be like the best NBA. No. What I'm saying though, I think Mars, I do value his opinion on like guys when he's scouting them. I think Mars would probably be like the best scout in NBA history, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when he talked about Dyson Daniels before everybody else did. And then he had that breakout year. I was impressed with him. I remember when he was talking about Toumani Camara. And I think he was saying stuff about Amir Thompson about his athleticism. He was comparing him to LeBron James early. And I was like, what? That's crazy. But then I actually saw it this year what he was talking about. So whenever you had brought that up, Chill, and he had got like excited about it, and he was talking about what he did, I went back and watched the highlights, and I was like, okay, I'm excited to watch this guy because if Mars stamp a young guy, they usually turn out good. And I'm a Minnesota guy. I'm hoping in a perfect world that he can they bench Rudy early and just have him come off the bench. And like I told you before, Chill, I'm cool if Minnesota has one down year, just so that can help them in the future. Like if they take a few steps, like one step back to take 2 steps forward, I'm cool with them doing that this year. But I want them to develop him this year so they can get rid of Rudy Gobert, because I don't see Anthony Edwards winning the championship with him. But from what I've seen from that Juan Berenge dude, man, he's great defensively. He's athletic. He can catch. So I'm excited to see him in the season.
I just like the fact that he knows his job as a rim protector and a shot blocker. I love that about him. We could teach him the other stuff. Like we could teach him the paint presence. We could teach him verbiage. We could teach him how to switch. We could teach him how to get back. We could teach him how to protect the rim. But the stuff that we can't teach him is being 7 foot. We can't teach him that. And being 7 foot, he knows how to use his height and he knows how to use his size. Ox, being a big guy, can appreciate guys that are big who know how to use their size. There's plenty of guys who are big that don't know how to use their size. And I feel like this kid knows how to use his size just around the rim alone. Like if you think that you're just going to go over the top of him regularly, no, that's not going to happen. And I think to be honest with you, the best player to learn from for what he is good at is Rudy. I think that's the best person to learn from. I think Rudy can teach him, because I think Rudy at this level, I think he's got a couple more years before he really starts to slow down. But I think Rudy can really teach him how to be one of the better defenders in the game. No doubt about it. I think he's the consummate backup right now.
Yeah, and then with the Jokic and Jonas thing, I think the Nuggets are going to be scary, because I think Jonas not wanting to come there at first is just going to be a story. Whenever they have success during the year, because I'm concerned because Jokic is already a great offensive rebounder, and now you're adding Jonas Valanciunas, who can also crash the offensive glass. I think that they're going to experiment with those two guys like in the game at the same time, and I think that's going to be a problem for teams getting rebounds. And now they got another shooter in Cam Johnson. They got Jamal Murray. I think Christian Brown. I love watching Christian Brown play, and I think he's
getting
better,
isn't he? He is getting better, isn't he?
And he's athletic too. I like athletic guys, and he's athletic. His shot looked better than me this year. Like when he shot it this year, in clutch times, he made a lot of shots. So
classic. You see how they let Bruce go, so that and Christian got some more minutes and got to develop, and now they bring Bruce back, and now they both up top. I like that, man. I like it.
And I'm also a big fan of Peyton Watson too. I love his like the way he's built. He's tall. He's got long arms. I think he's going to take a offensive lead this year too. So I think Denver's going to be scary with those two bigs. And then real quick, when you guys were talking about Paul Pierce yesterday, I don't know. I just feel like Paul Pierce gets disrespected because what Real Talk was saying, I agree that I don't think Paul Pierce could do what SGA did because I think SGA had one of the greatest seasons of all time. I only think it's two people that could have done what SGA did this year, which was Michael Jordan and Kobe. But I do think if you replace Paul Pierce with SGA, Paul Pierce would still be a top 5 player in the league today. And I think that my main thing is that I think Paul Pierce would be better in the league today than Carmelo and Tracy McGrady would.
The problem that we having with Paul Pierce, classic, and Ox could attest to this, Paul Pierce is the chick that's telling us she fine. Bitch, we know you fine. But you keep telling me that you fine. Now I'm looking at that big-ass pimple in the middle of your forehead. Now I'm looking at the wrinkles underneath your eyes. I know how awesome you are. I do. But you got to keep telling me. It's kind of like Kanye West. He's the same type of dude. Like Kanye West got to keep telling me how dope he is. My man, I already know how dope you are. But the fact that you keep telling me that, now I'm looking at maybe you wasn't as dope as I thought you are. When in reality, yes, you are. But you kind of screwing me up. That's what the problem is.
Chill. Paul Pierce, an LA dude. He can't help himself.
Right. And my thing, I feel like if Tracy McGrady said that, everybody would be like, yeah, Tracy McGrady would be amazing if you put him in place on the Thunder in place of SGA. But I think Paul Pierce would be better if you replace them than Tracy McGrady and Carmelo Anthony. And that's the thing I don't get. I think Paul Pierce is better than those two guys, but I feel like people love the Glaze, Carmelo, and Tracy, but they disrespect Paul Pierce, and I think Paul Pierce was better. That just annoys me a lot.
I can get it. I can get with that.
I feel you.
Good to talk to you, brother. We know where to find you at.
That classic.
All right, man. You guys have a good one.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Good to talk to you.
Yeah,
I really dig Paul Pierce. I do. I really dig Paulie Gold. He just throws me off the track a lot of times with telling me how dope he is. I know how dope you were, my man. I do know.
That's what it is. I think Paul, he kind of sits back and he sees these other guys getting praise, and he's like, yo, like I was there too. You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
So and it's hard. I think it's hard for him to bite his tongue. Like, man, why are y'all acting like I wasn't there? And then the whole thing with Draymond Green, and I'm just like, Draymond, bro, like, shut up. You could not tie Paul Pierce's shoes. But the thing about it, Chill, is like social media is how stuff is spread around now. Mm-hmm. And the young fellas run social media. You know what I'm saying? The youngsters run it. And they don't know shit about Paul Pierce. So it's just like,
it's just crazy to me.
They, you know what I'm saying? They think that, oh, it's cool for Draymond Green to say these things about Paul Pierce. Oh, you would never be Kobe. And, no, he wouldn't be Kobe. You're right. He's not Kobe. We understand that. But Paul Pierce used to get at Kobe. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's
he won the Finals MVP. That happened. Right. He won the Finals MVP.
The same way Kobe used to get at Paul Pierce used to get at Kobe, give him everything back. So it's just like, come on, man. But once again, still these kids don't know nothing about Paul Pierce. They didn't watch Paul Pierce till he got to the Clippers, maybe the Wizards. So and when that's what it is. So that's simply what it is. They did not see Paul Pierce on the Celtics, and they think that Paul Pierce is some type of just guy that hangs around and plays cards with strippers and smokes weed and talks shit with Kevin Garnett.
He was awesome.
You know what I'm saying? He was dope. Awesome. And maybe awesome. You should watch some. Maybe y'all should watch some Paul Pierce games, man. Yeah, but
he was awesome.
That's okay. Who we got next? My man, Rock Out Deuce. What's up, Deuce?
What's
What
up? So I was listening to y'all. Man, shit, man. I was listening to y'all top 100 players, man. When y'all got to the 20 to 25 rank, I was expecting y'all to have them, but y'all didn't have them. And
Not this season. Not
what?
this season,
What
yo.
was it?
Where's John
Josh?
Morant,
Josh,
fellas?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Not this
Josh.
season. Not this season, bro. Sorry, not this season.
Okay, so where do y'all have them this season?
He wasn't top 20. Not top 25. Sorry, bro.
Probably wasn't top 30, dudes.
No,
not this season.
hell no.
Not this season. Not this season.
Sorry,
I just
not
said
this
we're only ranking this season. We can't
just
bring
this
into
season.
24. We can't bring
Yeah.
23 into this.
No,
It's just this season.
it was just this season. That's all we talked about. Just this
Is it
season
because of the
alone.
injuries? Is it because the slow start at the beginning because of the new offense? What is it?
Yo, you thinking about Ja. I think you thinking about Ja just as a baller. And I'm thinking about Ja as a baller too. I ain't gonna argue that point. And I don't know if it's 30 basketball players better than Ja. I ain't gonna argue that point. But just this season alone, I mean, we was having a conversation that Ja might not be a top 10 point guard. We was having a conversation about that. We was having a conversation about that. Yes. There was a time
10 point guards in the game better than Ja?
I don't think so.
Let me get your point guards, Deuce. Let me get them.
We was having a conversation earlier about that. I don't think so, but we was having a conversation earlier about that. Yeah, there might not be 10. It might be 10 point guards in the game better than Ja. Yes.
Oh my God, man.
So if we start at the top.
Can y'all throw me some names? Throw me some names.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw you some names and then you tell me when to stop. So SGA,
okay,
Luka, Curry, Brunson, SGA, Halliburton, Fox, Halliburton, Fox, Damian Lillard, Darius Garland.
No, hold on, no, not Darius Garland. No.
Darius Garland wasn't better than John Morant this year.
No, Till, no.
Darius Garland was not better than Ja this year.
No. What was Darius Garland numbers for this season?
I think he was 20-7, something like that, almost 20-8. Darius Garland 100% was better than Ja this year.
Ja had better stats than that.
Ja scored more. That was it. Ja scored more.
He was dishing it too.
Yeah, not nearly. And I gave Ja, and I talked to you about this earlier. I gave Ja more credit this year. As a distributor. But Ja's jump shot, it seemed like his jump shot went somewhere else this year than it did in the past. I don't know what happened to it.
And listen,
same thing with his three ball.
When he got that new celebration, he was launching them. He learned how to shoot when he got that new celebration. They started banning his celebrations and the grenades and shit. He learned how to shoot then. But I feel like so at the beginning of the season, we talked about this before. At the beginning of the season, that offense that Taylor Jenkins was trying to run, it wasn't favorite to him at all. It wasn't favorite. He was playing off ball. It's kind of hard for him to score off ball. He had him sitting in the corner and had other people bringing the ball up. After that month of when Taylor Jenkins got fired and Tuamis ran the offense through him, Ja went off like that. I think his numbers went up to like 28 per game. He gave Cleveland 44. I think the only bad game he had was against Indiana, but his numbers shot up. So I'm really expecting him to take like a huge leap this year, especially with him and Jaren being the top two options and Desmond Bane being gone, and they have to step up. I'm expecting him to get back in that top 7, top 5 point guard conversation that he was in 2023, 2022. I was expecting him to get back in that conversation this season.
His last 6 games of the season, 22, 22-10, 26-5, 36-6, 30-3, 28-8, 36-6, 21-6. It was kind of like this. So it wasn't exactly wasn't exactly like Ja like. We could see some consistency, and Ja's been in and out of the lineup. He was beat up, just like Darius Garland was, but Darius Garland was more consistent than Ja was this season.
So it's a consistency thing that you talk about with Darius Garland.
I mean, we ain't just talking about you being a baller. I mean, Ja is one of the best ball players in the game. I ain't gonna argue that point. 100% he is. I think it's a consistency thing with him more than anything. Yeah.
I can get with that. Do y'all have a set Western Conference standings right now? Because I think every team is finished. I think this is their finished product for the season.
Well, I think all the guys that are like the if you came to the barbecue, all the chicken, all the steak, all the good stuff is gone. So you're gonna have to get what's left. That's already gone. So if I think about the Western Conference today, I think Oklahoma City is they're the team to beat in the Western Conference. I think Denver's behind them. Houston is next. And 4, I think the Minnesota, the Clippers, the Lakers,
Mavericks,
Dallas at 7. I'm moving Dallas up. I think they better than Minnesota, actually. Yeah, I'm moving Dallas up.
I want to put Dallas at 4, but I'm scared of how they're going to start the season with Kyrie being out.
I feel like the same way I felt last year. I think we're gonna have a 45, 46 win team in the Western Conference miss the playoffs. I think that.
That's definitely
I definitely think that that's happening. I think that we're gonna have a team that wins 45, 46 games this year, miss the playoffs. And I think Dallas is gonna be. I'm moving Dallas up to the top 5. I think the Clippers will be right there. I think, and I'm on record saying this, and I'm standing on it. I think the Trailblazers take y'all spot.
Really?
Yep. I think
that Chinese kid that got Hansen, I don't know how to say his name. I don't want to disrespect him. Man, he's nice. He's nice. He's legit. He is nice. I watched his highlights today. He's nice. He's really nice. He really is.
I think the Trailblazers take y'all spot this year. I do.
You still got to make it in the playoffs?
I got the Trailblazers making the playoffs this year.
So they're gonna make it over Golden State, San Antonio. Who else?
I think San Antonio making the playoffs. They taking your spot and Sacramento. Yep. Them the 2 teams I think are out. Memphis and Sacramento is out.
We getting better this year, but that's all right. We'll see. We'll see. But
all right, I'm gonna holler at y'all, man.
Yeah, good to talk to you.
Good talking to y'all. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, Chill, before we get out of here, I do want to ask you this. Do you expect the Warriors to do anything with the remainder of this offseason or up in the trade deadline, or do the Warriors just run it back to where they are?
I think that they will do something at the trade deadline, Ox, but I think that with the crew that they had, with adding buckets to see what this looks like for the season, I think that that's the route that they want to go. I don't think that they're doing anything this summer. Nope.
Okay. Well, shout out to everybody that checked us out on YouTube and everybody that's watching on Twitter or X, whatever you call it. Shout out to both. Y'all, just to let you know, we are streaming live on Twitter and streaming live on YouTube from here on out. So just check us out, man. It's easy to find us. You have no excuse, zero excuse to not watch Chill with Chill every Thursday and Saturday. No reason. No reason whatsoever.
You can't say you don't know what time, because we tell you every week. We tell you every week what time it is. And
we right here.
You know where we are. You know where we are, so it's not that hard.
Right here, yeah. It's not that hard. Before we get out of here, let me make sure I do my job as a W host and finish these super chats. Big fan Breezy came in with the super chat, said Cam Thomas is the glue to the 5 rookies on the Nets.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
for sure,
the case.
for sure. I expect an exciting season from Cam, for sure I do. Flexed up 92-61. Melo getting disrespected. Yeah, I hate when Melo gets disrespected, y'all. Definitely do.
Super corny.
SGA Sports Talk, been a member for 11 months and sent the members chat. Thanks, SGA Sports Talk, man. Appreciate it. 11 months. That's commitment. I'm a big fan of Players' Choice, and you two are great.
I used to live in the Bay Area, brother. Love the Bay Area. I didn't like living up there. I loved living up there. It was awesome.
Yeah, definitely. You're gonna have to add the Valkyrie to that picture now, man. Definitely. Well, that's that, y'all. Before I do go, one more thing. I'm sorry, a little more housekeeping. It's almost that time. Sunday the 20th. Make sure you get here at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's 8 a.m. Pacific. Make sure you get here to watch the press box. If you love football, if you want to hear good football talk, my man J-Rob, Bama, and Swiper will be here to give you what you want. Make sure you come check them out. We'll be here. Other than that, y'all. Oh, wait a second.
I'm absolutely tuning into 100%. I'm tuning into that. Yes,
definitely. I know that's gonna be some great talk. Great talk, man. Y'all make sure y'all tune in as well. But other than that, man, we got to get going. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Absolutely, guys. It's good to see you. Y'all know where to find us. We'll see you soon. Until then, put on a suit, Drink water. Don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. Well, last time you talked to your mother, I just talked to my mother yesterday. Call your mother. If you ever in the Portland area and you had too much to drink, my big fella right here, he'll make sure that you get you where you got to go. No doubt about that. So we will see you guys soon. But until then, take it light. But take it. Absolutely, man. It was
All right,
good to see you guys today. No doubt.
Peace. We'll catch y'all next time. We'll see y'all on Monday on the panel.